Hey, White Pumpkin back here with another update on Chu-Chu's epic adventure. This equation is going to come in handy in just a second, but I wanted to talk about the moves. Because as we all know in an RPG, battles are where most of the fun is. And so the level system, HP, and moves, or as they're called, talents in the game, are one of the most important things, because most of them are really busted when it comes to the time. So, first, let's discuss the levels. There are 15 levels in the game, and every level from the first takes 2 times as much as the last. But the first level requires 1,000 EXP to move on to the next one. Then past level 2 is 2,000, so on and so forth. Every time you level up, it now takes twice as much to level up again. And every time you level up, your HP increases. Seems reasonable, right? At level 1, you have 50 HP to begin with. And the talent that you get during there is Playtime, where it has a 1 in 4 chance to raise your attack by 10, and it does 10 damage, which means it would do 20 damage. At level 2, you have 70 HP, and you don't get a talent at that level. Then at level 3, you have 90 HP, and the talent that you get there does 50, and it's called Bounce, which has a 1-turn charge time, but it does 2 times more damage if damage is taken during that turn for Chu-Chu, or the player. Level 4, here's where HP starts to just skyrocket because of how much HP the opponents have. Because in Chu-Chu's epic adventure, they have the same amount of HP as you. And the talents start to get really powerful. So at level 4, you have 110 HP and no talents there. Which, if you have Bounce, would mean that if you get damaged during the time you charge, you're going to kill them with around 1 more talent, which is Playtime, so it doesn't really matter. Level 5, you have 130 HP, and the talent you get there is Bop, which does 90 damage, and it ignores the defense, because every enemy in the game has a defense stat, which then removes that amount of damage from the amount of damage. But Bop, because it ignores defense, it doesn't get its power decreased. At level 6, you have 150 HP, no talent there. You can kind of see a pattern. At level 7, you have 170 HP, and the talent you get does 100. This is the second highest one that you get, and it is called High Fly. It has a 2-turn charge, but it does 1.5 times amount of damage if taken. So, if you take damage during those 2 turns, in any of them, it'll do that 1.5 times multiplier, which isn't that much, but when you're talking about 100 damage, it doesn't really matter. Then level 8, you have 190 HP, and no talent. Here's where another mechanic comes in, the cheers. Cheers are stat-raising talents, basically, and at level 9, you get your first. And at level 9, you have 210 HP, and the cheer that you get is called Cheer 1, because I couldn't think of any names for them. But it heals you by 90 HP, and it heals the whole team by 90 HP as well. Level 10, nothing really happens, nor does your HP increase. At level 11, your HP increases to 260, and you get Cheer 2, which adds to your attack that you're going to do next turn, and only the next turn after you use it, which adds it up by 90. And then level 12, nothing happens. Level 13, you don't gain any health, but you get another cheer. which is cheer 3, which lowers the amount of damage you're going to take that turn by 50. Then level 40, or not 40, 14, nothing happens. Level 15, however, is where you get the last talent in the game. Your HP becomes 300, and the talent does 200 HP worth of damage. And it is called Chu Hammer, which takes 2 turns to charge, but it also takes one turn to recharge, which means that when you use it, you have 1 turn of not doing any damage, which seems fair for it doing 200 damage. You know?
Are you streaming or recording?
Recording. Right. And this is where this equation that I have on screen happens. So the amount of damage that opponents do is equal to this equation, and all you have to do is plug in health as the first number. For example, if you're level 1, your HP is 50, which means they do 3 damage. But I have the wrong one up here, because that is, for it to be like that, it does 52. I think I have it so that, yeah, 35, which means it does 17. Pretty reasonable amount of damage. I mean, it's only somewhat stronger than yours, but you can do it if you have the 1 in 4 chance of increasing your damage, which is gonna happen anyways because it's the tutorial one first, and it gets you to level 2 immediately after that, so it doesn't really matter. Or, if you're above level 5, it goes with 49. Because there's a lot of health at level 5 and up. So if you're level 15, for example, and you have 300 HP, that does 253, which is a lot. I'm still dealing with how I'm going to go with cheer levels. I think I'm going to have it be a little bit more, I'm guessing, because 200 is a lot of damage for them. I might make it 66. No, that doesn't work. 90. We're getting there. But, yeah. That's basically how it works. There's also the final boss, which has a fixed damage, which means he just does the same amount of damage no matter what. Unless you have defense stuff, which is kind of obvious. But he also has one move that does do fixed damage no matter what. So, look out for that. Anyways, that's enough for today. Remember to look at the playlist and listen to the songs. They did a pretty good job. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.